Ladies and gentlemen, good Tuesday morning and welcome to another edition of the Toxic Happy Hour, where we are toxic towards scams that are delaying the adoption of money. Today we have a special Christmas edition for Southern California. Everyone, of course, are welcome. But Brian Harrington, so-called Bitcoin Meetup beast in the house. What are you drinking today?
Coffee, just coffee, black coffee.
Same here.
My fancy Hydro Flask mug that my wife bought for me. So,
so-called hipster, doing it right.
Yes, you have to. But no, dude, thank you. I don't know. I appreciate like the beast thing. This year's been awesome. It's just been so fun. Southern California Bitcoin, I've met so many people and I'm just so thankful. Like, I know the word community gets thrown around a lot. We kind of argue about whether that's like that term is correct or not correct. I'm pretty squarely on the Bitcoin is a community train. And that's from Meetup. That's from just the philosophy of it. That's from the commerce, style of it and the P2P manner. So I'm definitely on the community thing. And yeah, that's where this idea came together. Like, it just came together pretty quick of just me realizing that, Rob Price in Santa Monica is doing his thing with that group. You've been a meetup organizer for a while in LA before OC Bitcoin even got started, so OC Bitcoin has had a really good run, thanks to the way that Steven set it up and just, George McHale and, like the Bitcoin Is conference just brought a lot of, LA, Southern California Bitcoin traffic. Also, Bitcoin Magazine is bringing their conference to LA and you had CK on. I really liked that episode. Your show in general is just blowing up. People like love to hang out in YouTube and just this. And so that's sweet. I'm excited to hear, what Matt talks about later. It's always cool hearing from Matt. Matt's going on Bitcoin Magazine tomorrow to talk about payments again. So like, I love hearing about Bitcoin payments and yeah, there's no shortage. Everyone knows, like, there's just no shortage of, yes, some of the Bitcoin Peloton community. Yes, there's a Bitcoin Peloton community. If you have a Peloton, join the Bitcoin hashtag. So the Cyber Hornets are on the Peloton app. That's awesome. No, nothing good to stop talking about. Like, I can't stop smiling and I can't stop pressing retweet. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin Twitter right now is probably the funniest place to hang out, honestly. So Saturday, I think, like, I don't recall the last time or the last day I had where I spontaneously laughed as many times as I did Saturday. I was standing at, my son's soccer practice. Like, I was there, standing a little bit isolated by myself, looking at my my Twitter account on the mobile, and just like out of nowhere start laughing because all these memes, people giving shit to each other. I entered a bet on Friday with Greg Sosh, and we just started, giving it into each other. And he's a great meme artist, and just we had so much fun, man. So yeah, and thanks for the words. Like, this Toxic Happy Hour started with me and Poplord.HODL,
right.
And the purpose really is just take our Bitcoin conversation online, because we know that other people like to talk Bitcoin as well. We're very active with the chat and involving them, so we're just having a lot of fun. But personally, I'm super excited to come to this Bitcoin Christmas party. Social activity is on the down here during COVID. I look forward to meet some like-minded people and just have a fun evening. So tell us more about where people can find out about the meetup or the Christmas party, and what you have in mind, and when it's going to be, etc.
Yeah. So if you're in Southern California, if you're within driving distance of LA, South LA region, go to ocbitcoinnetwork.com, and that'll take you direct to our meetup page. We're gonna have the main RSVPs run off there, and we're going to repost the details to the Crypto Mondays meetup page. We're going to repost the details to the Century City meetup page. We're going to repost the details out to the Riverside group that I recently, got in touch with those guys out there. And we're going to invite people from all of Southern California. So we have a little tribe of people from San Diego that I've gotten coffee with too. And there's a meetup in Encinitas. And so I'm going to invite them. And if there's anyone that I'm missing, like we've got BitDevs LA too, and we're going to invite those guys. Anyone that I'm missing from, if you have a meetup, Bitcoin meetup in Southern California, message me so that I can be connected with you, because the real goal is to just press forward to this thing. Like, I think in-person community is still really important. Our Thursdays in Anaheim are continuing to press on. We're meeting this week, and we're going to have, we're having like kind of a swap meet this week, celebrating Bitcoin Black Friday, because we've been kind of having a push to get local merchants involved. And so BTC Pins will be there selling pins. And we have an artist coming up from San Diego that she'll be selling some artwork, and yeah, it'll be fun. But we're pressing forward. As far as the specific Christmas details, it'll be Thursday, December 10th, and the location is a secret. You will have to drop a little bit of sats to get the address, because it's very we'll be entering through a side door. It's a very exclusive location, and it'll be a ton of fun. But we've lined it up with the owner, and he is very open to the idea, and it'll be cool. Like, great food. I was there with a few people last weekend testing it out. Everyone will love it. Want them to go. So I just have kind of like a splash page up for the details right now, but RSVP for December 10th at ocbitcoinnetwork.com, and I will get you the link, to drop your sats and get the address and get all the information. It's gonna be dress to impress. Because as you said, a lot of us have been stuck inside, working from home, sweatpants life, like that kind of thing. So I really am kind of pump this up, and wear your Christmas outfits, like come out and have a good time.
Awesome. So dress to impress, give me some more details, because English is only my second language.
So
are we talking tuxedos, or what are we talking here?
Well, so the reason why I like saying dress to impress, other than laying out the specific kind of dress code, is because it lets everybody decide to kind of where they want to fall on that. So again, it's not everyone, like it's completely open to however you want to interpret that. But just kind of take what you normally do and just step it up for the Christmas party, because it's a celebration. Do it for yourself, do it for others, and it'll heighten the enjoyment.
I honestly can't wait. I'm really looking forward, and I love the fact that you have to drop a little bit of sats. We're not talking a lot, but just simply to keep it harder for the mafia to crack down on a fun night, because mafia don't necessarily like that. So as I've said so many times before, we may not have the best hosts in this space, but we have the best chat in this space. And as Greg just said, Brian Harrington's beard just got my wife pregnant.
Oh man,
it is absolutely very cool, no doubt about it. Cool. So, but since this is the Toxic Happy Hour, I need to know, what kind of drinks could we possibly get our hands on at this Christmas party?
Yeah, so the main IPA they had was the Voodoo Ranger, and so that's what I drink while I'm there. But the wine is like I'm told off the charts, so you can get that at whatever level that you want to enjoy that at. And then yeah, just like Peroni and basic kind of chill beer also, and then the Voodoo is your IPA choice, and then like a lot of wine.
Right. Awesome. Sounds good.
Mixed drinks too. Fancy mixed drinks, very, very accommodating. So it's outside my league. Like, I have to step it up to even know what I'm doing here also.
Right. So the next thing Greg is going to say in the chat is whether they'll be making bourbon and Pepsi for me that night.
I'm sure we can make it happen. We can make it happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm really looking forward to get some, just to hang out with Bitcoiners for sure.
Yeah.
And meet people from the other Bitcoin meetups in Southern California. It's going to be a great get-together event. And also, if anyone of my copiers or followers from eToro are watching this, which I know there is a bunch from there, guys, I'd love to meet you in person. Come out to this. I'm going to put a link in the description afterwards to the meetup I run in Century City. from there, I will be also posting the announcement heading to Brian's page for signing up. Would love to meet you guys, as many as possible. This is just going to be fun. Especially, we have fun when we talk about price. And I just want to make another public service announcement, as my t-shirt says, buy the dip, because the next couple of days is the last few days where you can buy the dip from 20,000, the all-time high. It seems every day I'm waking up, currently there's another $1,000 green candle, daily candle. How do you feel about the price?
Yeah, 1K days only. That's what I tweeted earlier. 1K days only. I think it's exciting. I kind of not as like it's almost anticlimactic, and I don't say that in a buzzkill way. I say that in a like we've been preparing for this moment kind of way. And so that's how I feel right now. It's kind of it's weird. It's but then it's also it's like bittersweet, just slightly bittersweet to me. It's kind of I don't know if anybody else feels like that.
In which way? In which way is it bitter?
That it's kind of that it's happening, like it's happening,
right?
And so you kind of and how you're talking about buying the dip and just realizing that it's Bitcoin feels like it's entering a new chapter, and so you have everyone just with various different outlooks on the way they were onboarded to Bitcoin. How long they've been around. What specifically they like about Bitcoin, and everyone's kind of climbing over that in a different way. But it's definitely to me feels like a new chapter.
Absolutely. I think what's really what I'm starting to realize is like I knew this was going to happen for a couple of years. It's like there's going to be the halving, supply is going to be cut in half, fresh supply, by the mining reward dropping from 12.5 new Bitcoins every 10 minutes to 6.25. So I felt, okay, I know that's going to happen. History has taught us that. But watching it now, being here, it's something that you've looked forward to for so long, and just getting the confirmation now, like removing that last bit of, shred of doubt, although I never doubted, but still watching it now, live happening, the price pumping easily towards the all-time high of 20,000 without people caring to know about Bitcoin. It's just it's insane. It's really a special experience to be here now, and it's a lot of fun, to be honest.
I thought of the other part that's a little bittersweet. It's for family, like family and friends. I'm relatively thankful for everyone of kind of my immediate sphere of influence that has been willing to kind of join me on the crazy fun ride that it is. But there still is like a little bit of that kind of people that chose to hold back a little bit, and that so it's not bad, and you're not late, it's great, and so enjoy the confirmation that's happening and choose to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So I guess as there also is a little bit of talk about in the chat, it's a and you said as well, we have friends and family that we still didn't manage to make understand what's going on. I will though say that I finally, against all odds, and against a quite wealthy family friend who's advising my mother on financial matters, and like he's got the track record that you just want to listen to whatever he says and do it, because he has done insanely well for himself, and he's done so well that he's not questioning the old paradigm. He's not questioning the legacy. He sees Bitcoin as that's just a bubble and a Ponzi and a scam. Like, why would you want to hold Bitcoin? And I'm trying to explain, but because he's done so well, he's hearing me, but he's not listening. Because he doesn't have any problem that needs a solution. He's been good for decades. But finally, against those odds, I managed to convince my mother, and I knew, okay, I don't want to send her to an exchange. It's too difficult. The easiest way to get the Bitcoin exposure really was to get her to buy some GBTC, because it's in a investment account. Like in Denmark, when you have a bank account, you don't need a separate investment account. You can just say, okay, I'll take now, $5,000 and buy whatever stock. So I finally got her to buy GBTC, and then she's banking with, I think it's the biggest bank in the Nordic countries, Nordea. And when she finally, said, okay, to the advisor, whatever, okay, I want to buy some GBTC, they just said, no, we don't do anything. We don't do any dealings with Bitcoin. We think it's bad. It's not good for you. You can't decide for yourself. We are running nanny state. We are running nanny bank. We don't want to let you think that you're smarter than us because we're the bank. I'm so sick and tired of that attitude. Yeah. So she didn't get any Bitcoin exposure. And I have I've been saying, whether I can get my mom into Bitcoin or not will be the trigger of whether I think we're on the final bull run, the final leg up. And as long as so I was trying to make it happen, but as long as she still doesn't have Bitcoin, I just know so does a lot of conservative people, and we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And as I bet with Greg in the chat about who was on Friday, we had Friday the 13th, Toxic Happy Hour just this last Friday. I still believe that there'll be at least a 50% bear market in 2022 after we run up to way above 200,000. It's going to be from there 50% retracement, and that's also what I'm trading on eToro, basically the halving cycle. Right now, just being 100% exposed to Bitcoin, riding this bull.
Yeah. I thought of another thing about meetups. The other, I like explaining this to people. And if you don't have a meetup in your area, the other reason, a really good reason to start one, is because as price does what it does, and as general interest grows and grows and grows, I've noticed businesses are going to get into the commerce game. You can't have the greatest collateral in the world, go on this run, and businesses not want to get in the commerce game. And you've watched them kind of adopt it as their treasury asset. And I've noticed that getting brick and mortar businesses to accept Bitcoin it's actually not that challenging. After the entrepreneur is motivated to earn Bitcoin, then the actual tech is not that complicated. And it's that entrepreneur being motivated enough and kind of just that signal being out there that, hey, this is possible. Earlier today, I was playing around with the Breeze point of sale app, and it's still in test flight. And so that's why it's not on everyone's phone yet, but it's really good. Really good. And that team has solved a lot of the issues of the node, runs on the mobile device. And so it's non-custodial. And then they have their way of, I'm pretty sure, just making a little bit of money for back to on-chain transfers. And it truly is just kind of solving and chunking these things off. And so I'm pumped about that. And the other reason why then meetups are important is because think about Southern California. So if Southern California just has this great community where all the Bitcoin meetups are all on the same page, and we kind of all know each other, and we all know the restaurants, then the ones that one by one start to kind of implement Bitcoin, then there's almost a meetup happening all the time everywhere, because you have, we love to talk about Schelling points, and we love to talk about network effects and kind of all these things. But if you have these businesses that are then also stacking, it's an incredibly satisfying feeling to spend money that you're already spending to get food or whatever it is you need while the stack of an entrepreneur. That is an incredibly fulfilling feeling, and one that I think Bitcoiners are going to be fired up about participating in. I just fundamentally believe that.
Pound that like button for that excellent rant there. I love it. You're right. It's a great feeling that if you actually part with your sats, they're going to someone who's going to hang on to it and is not being sold on the market. We don't want to create sell pressure. We want to create buy pressure, and we're good at that.
And you're buying right before you're spending to the merchant. You're buying right before you're spending to the merchant. So look, whether you're using Strike app or using Cash app or using any of these wallets, they kind of all do the same thing now, and we're kind of all on the same page of buy and then spend it immediately, and then here's follow Coin Center and really get involved with the de minimis, exemption kind of thing. So there's no capital gains tax on kind of these micropayment cases, with some Cynthia Lummis, being elected to the Senate, Senator Lummis, that's super exciting. And so Bitcoiners are growing as a grassroots kind of voting block inside the country. And so again, whatever your thoughts on voting versus not voting or whatever, you have influence as an individual. And we've seen the power of Twitter. We've brought hedge fund managers. We live rent free in hedge fund managers' heads because of all of you sitting on Twitter. We can do the same thing with politics. It's the same thing because hedge fund managers and politicians are the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay. So like we can demand the change that we need to live in the type of economy that we want to live in because we are sovereign individuals and that's how the game works.
I love it. Brian, you don't just talk politics, you're looking at how can I influence the world around me to a better place. That's why I call you a bit of an activist, a Bitcoin activist, and I just love it. Okay, so what I want to just have you explain here is, because I love this way of let's work on converting businesses to Bitcoin businesses. So once I talk to someone and they go, all right, that makes sense. I'd love to get my hands on some of those Bitcoins. How do I, as a merchant, set it up so it's easy for me to get the payments and I get Bitcoin as a merchant? Where should they go if they want to set up some system so they can get Bitcoin?
Yeah. So there's three basic options. And they all come with their own pros and cons. It's OpenNode, BTC Pay Server, and now the Breeze point of sale app are my kind of three top ones that I talk to people about. And so with OpenNode and BTC Pay Server, you have the classic trade-off, right? Of one is kind of a closed source KYC app. It charges you 1%, but it's easy to set up, right? And then BTC Pay Server, you have the open source, free, no third parties, always free, always open source, but a little bit harder to set up, right? You got to know your command line. You got to know how to deploy it on a web server. Gotta know how to do that. So that you can trade off back and forth on those. Both of those can drop into your e-commerce stores, both pretty much the same way. On the brick and mortar front, that's where I'm trying to ramp up my knowledge on kind of this Breeze point of sale app and kind of just the brick and mortar point of sale apps in general. Because then what you do is it's simply just you run all your normal point of sale things. But then when it comes time to pay, okay, do you want credit, debit, cash, or Bitcoin? And then you flip the iPad around and they're scanning it straight into your wallet. And the apps of taking the payment straight into your wallet are always getting better. So then you can have your reports and your business reports of how much you're making. And then again, on the customer side, that's why people have heard me talk about it a bunch. Like the Strike app, at least in the United States, is completely changing the game on that because it feels like a fiat app. And so normie customers that might not even know about Bitcoin, if you, again, are a motivated entrepreneur, you want to offer a discount, you want to walk your people through, getting the Strike app, it's not going to feel any different to them than paying through Venmo or paying through anything. But you then with your Bitcoin QR codes are able to stack Bitcoin in the same way you always do.
All right, very cool. Greg is asking if LN Strike performed the same functionality
let me see. Let's scroll this. Can LN Strike perform the same? Oh, as far as being the merchant app, I don't know yet. I've been trying to climb over that in my head also. I really like Strike as the customer side app right now. I don't know yet on the merchant side.
And on the customer side, so let's say I get that as an app. What is and I know that is KYC as far as I understand. How is that with the the information to government and microtransactions being non-taxable? Like, do I have to worry about tax as long as I spend less than $600, $800 per time? Not that I'm spending that much. I'm just talking theoreticals here.
So Strike, yeah. So Strike does KYC you and it connects to your bank account. It makes your bank account interoperable with the Bitcoin network. No, Strike does not send you a 1099. It's a non-taxable event to send fiat over the app. And that's the whole point. That's the regulatory arbitrage that it's doing, because you're not sending Bitcoin and you're not even purchasing Bitcoin. You're sending fiat. And so it's just the same as using so from the customer side, completely not. On the business side, it's the same as receiving cash. Like this is truly what I say. If you're a business that wants to start stacking Bitcoin, Bitcoin is cash over the internet. So I'm not a tax advisor, but Bitcoin is cash over the internet. So take that for what you will,
Right. So if I have LN Strike and I'm spending $5 in a kiosk, Ellen Strike will take $5 from my bank account, send it to the merchant, and buy $5 worth of Bitcoin for him. So I also don't have my Bank of America or any other bank saying, hey, what are you doing with this Bitcoin thing?
Yes.
Cool. So it's straight up creating a buy pressure.
Yes.
There's no, and all right. So that's I really like that. I prefer that. But for the people that are fine to spend some of their sats, and I know you guys are probably going to kill me in the chat, but for the people that bought their freedom early enough and they don't have that much fiat income, which app would you recommend Lightning wise for them to have some of their own sats on to make purchase this way?
My favorite is probably Blue Wallet right now. Because I think it's the easiest to, if you like, God Says HODL just talks all the time about how easy it is to hook up Blue Wallet to my node. And so that's kind of the main, but I know other ones are doing this. That's just the main one that comes off of my head.
Okay. So if one question, when I'm from Denmark, I'm going to go back on trips every now and then. Was supposed to be there even back in March. Now November, everything gets canceled from SAS. But so one of the things I'm thinking about when I go to Denmark, if I use a credit card, there's like that whole currency exchange. I'm getting ripped off by the banks from like using another currency. But if I use LN Strike and pay with a Lightning Network in Denmark, how am I being punished for the fact that it's another country?
I'm 95% sure that you're not. I'm 95% sure that your bank would just see it as the normal, just a deposit into Strike app. And then your phone doesn't, your phone does know where you are, but the Bitcoin network doesn't know where you are. Right.
Yeah. And basically the merchant would have, the invoice for me would be in sats. So if that is a 1 million sats, LN Strike just buys up 1 million sats and send it to the merchant.
Yeah,
that is super cool. Are you seeing any merchants starting to give a discount because they don't have to pay 3-4% to credit card companies for getting payments in sats instead?
Close to it. We need a few more. Need a few more kind of swings at the plate of just to get a trend. Everyone I've worked with so far has just been really different, just so different. Is why it's hard for me to kind of. So I know the demand is there because I've had a lot of people asking me, and that's why I've even the main trend I've identified is, for whatever reason, it just seems easier to work these flows currently into brick and mortar businesses, and I don't know why, because you would think that Bitcoin is native on the internet, but from what I can tell, it's just because Shopify and Squarespace and all these things, they lock down their online flows so tight that, and maybe that's just me not having a good enough of a web design experience to know how to work it in. But brick and mortar, but the trend that I'm like, in my experience, has been true, is that brick and mortar, for whatever reason, has been easier on the entrepreneur and less friction to get started. As far as what the discount required is to get people excited about paying in Bitcoin, I don't know yet. We need more entrepreneurs climbing over it to kind of figure it out and report back.
I guess a lot of the incentive will be from guys like you and me that say, hey, I can create some buy pressure here. I can take some Bitcoin off the market when I buy my whatever chocolate or groceries, whatever. And that's something that you and I are incentivized to, because we want to promote Bitcoin. Awesome. Really love that walkthrough. I'm gonna afterwards watch through this video again and listen to which apps are gonna be excellent. I really look forward to the Christmas party, Thursday, the 10th of December, in so far government secret, government proof location.
Yes.
Or should we say mafia proof location. So people can follow you on Twitter. Your Twitter handle link is below. I will also in the notes update it and put in my my meetup, so people can sign up there as well. And then I will send out once you have details for me, I'll post that on the meetup as well. I'll post it on Twitter so people can come to your page and register for this event.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, just thanks so much, Anders. Thank you. Like, thanks for participating. Like, thanks for, you know, being involved in Southern California Bitcoin, and really excited to kind of meet everyone else that's going to come also.
Me too, man. I'm looking forward. All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Brian. And on that note, guys, please do not hold more fiat currency than you can afford to lose, because it is a built-in policy that it loses value every single year, every single month, every single day. Be careful with that fiat currency. It's dirty. All right. See you all next time. See you next time, Brian.
Cheers, everyone.